Hello, everybody. Starting just a second early here so I can get everything set up. Wait a little bit, like probably about an hour maybe, for people to join because, we're not that, we're a quiet show. We don't have much in the way of a crowd. But here we are, almost 8 o'clock. Wait just a few more minutes. And it's 8 o'clock. Hello, everybody. Obviously, like I said, we'll take a few minutes to give everybody some time to show up, but I hope you're all doing well post-holiday, whatever you happen to choose to celebrate. Christmas for me and my family, but, hats off to anything else that you decide is worth your time and effort. I appreciate all of those things. Just tinkering around with some of our self-propelled guns that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. Doing a little basing. See if I got my light right here. Did some flocking and painted the dirt, and then added some hedges probably in this scale. Some little barbed wire pieces I added there. We're going to tinker with that tonight and finish up the other 3 of these. Can you hear me out there? If there's anybody listening? Is the sound okay? Can you see all right? Anything I need to move or change or anything for you? Let me know if I can. Let me know if I should, if I could, if I would. Bloody lemming, I sense your presence in the ether. I like the work you did on that model on the stream on Saturday. I'm excited. I think that thing is called the Mammoth? I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. But yeah, that thing is looking good. Good work. So, I guess we'll go ahead and get started here. This is, we're wrapping up these self-propelled guns that we've been working on for a while. So, as I said, we built these just kind of on a whim. Went and visited Cav Boss, watched some YouTube videos about how the Soviets would go about, stopping panzers, and there was a lot of talk of self-propelled guns, and I thought to myself, well, let me back up, not self-propelled guns, anti-tank guns. And so I thought to myself, well, why don't these things exist in Cav? I mean, surely there would be the equivalent of those in Cav. And so I looked around for some bits, and I ended up, I didn't find anything to make what I would think of as an actual anti-tank gun, but I found some bits to make self-propelled guns out of, which are another similar kind of thing. And so I took some armadillo tracks, and I took the top of a... what is that from? Suddenly, the only words that come to mind are all BattleTech words. Grizzly. This is the gun off of a Grizzly. I got some of those, put them together. Decided to do kind of a wacky paint job. Just put some triangles on there. Remember, calves certainly, and I'm guessing maybe vehicles. I don't know. Probably should clarify with John, but certainly calves have the ability to change their camo patterns. If not, it will very, very easily. I mean, so they basically have digital paint, and so the idea is you could customize your camo. You could have a parade dress, outfit. You can have a fighting outfit. You could hypothetically, just thinking out loud, you could literally have your Cav play a music video on its skin while blaring out music, whatever flavor you chose. Frank Sinatra, Five Finger Death Punch, whatever fits your bill. Of course, these would all be the cav equivalents, although Frank Sinatra might still be listened to in the cav time. He seems to have a lot of staying power. You can play that video across the front of your cav while you walk into battle, during battle, post battle. You could just have your own concert, I suppose. Anyway, so the idea is, we can have whatever kind of camo we want, and so that's how we got here. I just crazy idea to do triangles. I thought it would be simple, and it hasn't been too bad. I'm not sure this is my favorite scheme in the world, but it works for these fellas. And so what I'm going to try and do tonight is I'm going to take the other people, the other self-propelled guns in this squad, and I'm going to decorate their bases. I'm going to put some more hedges and some wildflowers, and I just opened up my basing drawer and I just grabbed all the stuff I could find that I hadn't used in a long time, because I haven't been really doing sort of outdoory bases recently. And I decided I'm going to see what I can do with these. And I think on top of that, the added advantage there is I don't think John really likes these kinds of bases very much. I mean, when you look at the traditional cav bases, they're all really small. There's not a lot of room to put stuff on them. And I like telling a story with a base. I mean, not an argument or anything, but that's a point of discussion usually with me and John when we're chit-chatting about how to decorate models. Is I like to tell a story. So for instance, here's the story with these guys, and it's not a very complicated story. It's not like I'm trying to write a novel here, but I mean, so I like the idea that there are hedges in wherever these guys are deployed, and so I tried to make kind of like a hedge wall that this guy has driven through, that somebody's put a little bit of barbed wire in. Again, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's some little 3mm wire that I got from Army Builder, I'm pretty sure. Let me look and make sure I got the right name. No, Army Painter, sorry. The name is Army Painter. They sell all kinds of little hobby products, and so they sold this this little bit of strange kind of barbed wiry looking stuff. I don't even know if you can pick that out on the stream. So I added some of that, and so the idea is I'm going to make it like these guys are all fighting across this hedgerow, and so I'm going to kind of continue this hedgerow all the way across all of these guys, and this barbed wire too, and then I'm going to sprinkle in some other colors just for variety. It's just a way of kind of putting them all in the same time and space and place. Of course, John would argue or might say, "Hey, Ilmarin, nice to see you. Hope you had a great set of holidays. Hope you're really fired up and ready to get some cav stuff going on," because that's what we're here to do. But like I said, I'm John's counterpoint to these more complicated bases is that then they don't look good if I'm fighting on a spaceport, because the spaceport doesn't have rolling hills with hedges and barbed wire. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But, then your guys that are set to play on the spaceport look dumb in the hills, So you just have to tell the story that you want to tell. And today, this is my story. That these guys are fighting on like the undulating plains of space Russia or someplace like that. Been doing too much painting to do any painting, lol. So, Ilmarin, I'm trying to parse that sentence. I'm guessing you're painting a house or something like that, and now you don't have time to paint miniatures, although I kind of hope that's reversed. Maybe you've been painting too many miniatures and you can't get around to doing this other kind of painting that you should probably be doing. But anyway, I hope all is well. Hope all is going good for you. I forgot to turn on the music. What is wrong with me? I'm broken. See if we can get some of this going on here. There we go. Too much. And I gotta silence that. There we go. Slowly but surely. Sounds like good music for the Russian space steps anyway. Oh my gosh. Wow. Those sound like powerful colors. I can share a similar painting kind of accident that we had here at our house. Early on when we bought it, we decided we wanted to try and paint the living room this really pretty burnt orange color that we'd seen. And so we went to the Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever it was that we bought the paint, and we said, hey, mix us up this paint. We described it, we showed them some pictures of it, they mixed it up. We came home, we put it on the wall, and it basically was elf flesh. It wasn't nearly as rich as it needed to be in terms of orange, so it wasn't burnt orange at all. It was literally like we had painted the entire, and it's a good sized living room. It's big. We painted this thing elf flesh. And we went and bought more paint and painted it a different color. But anyway, yeah. So those things happen. I probably should have primered it first. I was young. I didn't really know as much as I might. I might not have been as wise then as I am now. Wait a minute. That assumes I'm wise now. Anyway, long story short, I've made those kind of accidents myself. Textured Spanish plaster. So I'm assuming that means your walls have a lot of complicated textured. They're not smooth walls is what that means, I think. And you got sunset orange. It sounds like that's a color I might have liked, but it didn't work for me. Yeah. Well, yeah, just remember, like all things in life, you need a little balance, right? So when you're done with this massive painting project, now to balance that, you need to do a massive miniature painting project. Start a new army. Pretty soon, in the next few months, we're going to have a virtual CavCon going on. I encourage everybody, even if you don't get to, play with anybody during virtual CavCon because virtual, paint an army. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to do. As soon as John announces what's going to happen, I'm going to start working on my whatever force I'm going to put together, and I'm going to try and do a lot of the work here on stream as much as I can. And I encourage everybody out there who has the time or the interest to follow along, jump in, make a new army, pull out your figures. A lot of you have got Kickstarter 3 figures that are probably still gray and plastic. If not, John will be happy to sell you some. Let's all put together an army and paint it and have it ready, for virtual CavCon. At least that's kind of my goal. All right, so I'm gonna start tinkering with glue and stuff here. So like I said, my goal is to kind of just tell a little story, make it look like these guys are sort of deployed in the same area. So like I said, I've done their bases in a very similar, very simple way, and just keeping it pretty straightforward. And now I'm going to come in and do some more of this. I really like this hedge wall feature, like they've all pulled up into this hedge wall and kind of crushed it underneath their tracks. It's not a gigantic hedge wall. I mean, some of the hedge walls in World War II were so nasty they couldn't drive tanks through them. At least that's what I've read. But so, basically they're parked on the governor's mansion, and they've torn up his garden, and here we are. All right, so let's get started here. Let's get some more this color. I've got a bunch of this stuff, so I'm going to predominantly, I think I'm going to try and work with this. Let's move these guys out of the way. More orange on the peacekeepers. I like the sound of that. Lord knows we need more peace in the galaxy. Especially in a galaxy with the rock. All right, so this guy, I've got the line kind of crossing this guy, about a third of the way back through the self-propelled gun. So I think with this guy, I'm going to have him be a little more forward. So I'm going to move the hedge wall back just a little bit. So he's kind of lined up like that. So I'm going to drop this first piece right here. And I really want to make it look like they've kind of crushed this stuff underneath the... hold on a second. I'm going to mute this so you don't hear me banging my paints or my glue, so it'll loosen up. All right, hopefully that worked. I didn't ruin your ears with my trying to get this old tube of glue to cooperate with me. It may be time to replace this tube of glue. Still got a fair amount in it, but yeah, it's been clogging up on me a lot lately. Take this old T-pin and stick it in there. Get that thing to hopefully loosen up. So I say this every stream, but you know, just in case there might accidentally be a new person out there. This is I mean, this is a hobby stream, but it's not a stream where I'm trying to show anybody how to do anything in particular. I'm just here working on my models and tinkering around with stuff and trying to make some progress on my own stuff while we hang out together and talk and paint and hobby. Good God Almighty. I feel like I'm going to get 80 pounds of glue when this thing finally decides to let go. And so that's the purpose here. It's like the hobby day at your local shop, you know, back before COVID hit. This is the sort of thing we would do. We would get together and work together on projects, share tips and tricks and things like that, and help each other out. And then we'd play occasionally. God, this is crazy. There we go. Yeah, it did it exactly as I described. It finally broke loose, and now there's like 80 pounds of glue on my miniature's base. But that's okay. That's what paper towels are for. Just soak some of that up, spread it out. Clearly, that's where the hedges are going to go, as determined by the the vagaries of my paint tube. It's going to be a little bit thicker of a wall than I originally imagined. And I said I'm going to jam that up right next to that tank, or that self-propelled gun rather, to try and give the impression this guy, or lady I suppose, this vehicle, this self-propelled gun has just driven through, pulled up into this hedgerow. I think I'm going to throw that one right there. And then I'm going to put a slightly different colored one in here. Drop this one in here just for a little variety. And then we're going to try and do the same thing over here. There we go. Now it's starting to let me have some glue. Stingy old thing. Like I said, I've got a bunch of these little grass tuft things, so I'm just kind of grabbing different colored ones and slightly different shaped ones and throwing them in here. That one's really big. Like I said, push it right up against the track because I want it to look like that. Those treads are just crushing this thing. And then I'm gonna, again, to put a little variety of color in there, I'm gonna get some of this green sponge. I'm just gonna drop it. I'm gonna try and drop it. You know, it's fun. It's hilarious to me. This stuff always sticks to my forceps better than it sticks to the glue, which is just silly. And like, I literally can't let go of that. Like I said, just something, I mean, I'm not trying to make that a main feature, that little piece of green there. It's just there to kind of break up the color a little bit, show something else. Throw this one back here. I can always come back in if I decide these are kind of crazy, and I can take scissors and trim these up and shape them a little bit. Although I'm probably not going to with these because I kind of like the wildness, and they're actually scaled for slightly bigger games. I think, at least that's my imagination, and so the fact that they're actually a little bit small, probably in cav, to be hedges, means I probably won't trim them up very much. Again, I'm just sticking this in there just for some color. Some little wild flowers that are growing up out in the fields where this battle is happening. It's hilarious. All right. Hopefully that'll stick. Alright, I'll come back here and trim this one up a little bit where it's hanging off the edge of the thing. Even better if I had scissors, but, you know, during Christmas, scissors are, you know, they're sort of like treasures. It's very hard to keep them. People suddenly have a need for them, and they find their ways into other areas of the house, never to be seen again. That's a little more than I gave it credit for. I just want a tiny little piece of this to stick right in there. Again, just a little variation of color. Get this thing to stick into the glue long enough for me to lift up my hobby knife. Nope, guess I need some more glue. Thought there was a little glistening bit right there that would do what I needed it to do, but it doesn't look like there was. All right. There. So we got a few hedges. Like I said, I'll probably take the scissors and come back in here and trim this up where it's hanging over the edge of the base a little too much. I'm not sure I like that, but we'll get this cleaned up. Yeah, okay. So here's an infantry person. Good point. There's an infantry guy. I mean, it looks like, I mean, if you took his base off, it would probably come up to his waist. So I guess it could be a hedge of some kind. Yeah, this one might be a better one to take a look at here. A little bit more room on this side of the base. So yeah, if he were standing, it's basically just underneath his waist height. Then if he wasn't standing on that little infantry base, if I had worked him into this base organically, by either taking off the little metal base or putting it into the clay, that would be about waist height. That's a good size for a hedge of some kind. Something an infantryman could take cover up against. Thanks for that suggestion, Ilmer. That was a good one. All right. So now we're going to put on some barbed wire. Like I said, this first one, I got this little bit of barbed wire in here, and I'm going to just extend that across the whole hedgerow. And that's what this stuff is for right here. Come here. So again, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on this camera. But there's this little bit of wire. And then to make it spool up, what I do is I get this, just the sheetrock screw. And I just wrap it around the sheetrock screw. Kind of like this, you know, like you might imagine. Not that hard. You could use anything here. I just think the sheetrock screw is about the right dimension for the spools that I want to make. And then, you know, I can just sort of back the sheetrock screw out without really interfering with the coils that I made. Yeah, Ilmer, you're right. You could definitely take advantage of that if he were to lay down. Let's come in here and cut this off. Now we've got ourselves a little piece of, I don't know if you can really see that. What have I got? Man, never prepared as well as I wish. See if you can see that. That little piece of barbed wire right there. Okay. And so then we're just going to, now in this case, because this guy is a little further through the hedge, what I'll probably really do is I'll cut this barbed wire in half and just run it, pretend like the middle part's underneath him, and then run this along the front side of that hedge. And then just to me, the little addition of that piece of barbed wire gives it, you know, tells a lot more of the story. So the people that are, whoever put this barbed wire out here had some plan in mind. They were hoping it was going to, you know, slow down some infantry. So, I mean, that right there just tells you some things about what's going on in this story. It's a little bit of defensive fortifications. There's a little bit of defensive mindset going on here. There's some concern that the infantry are coming, that that they need to be stopped from advancing through this particular section, or at least slowed down. There we go. So yeah, we're going to put that one right there. Hey, Mayor Dude, nice to see you. I think I may have spotted you on the Reaper forum the other day in the cab section. Maybe? Do you post over there, Mayor Dude? Just trying to get this coil of wire to roll up a little bit more. And this is a really short side, so I don't know. Actually, what I may do is I'm going to, instead of cutting this off and throw it away, I'm going to bend this piece forward to make it look like he's kind of drugged that along with the front of his self-propelled gun. And then the other piece will be just about long enough to fit this spot on the base. Hey, good to see you, man. I've read a bunch of your posts over there without really knowing, before we started doing the stream stuff. I had no idea. But yeah, I've read a bunch of your posts then. Glad to see you here tonight. Hope holidays were good for you, whatever they might have been. Hope you got to do lots of fun stuff. I hope you get to spend your time with all the cool people in your life. And I hope you have some shiny new toys to play with, because, man, toys are just the bee's knees. Just the bee's knees. All right. Probably going to flatten this piece out and stick it underneath the front like he's messed it up or something. Maybe I will trim off a little piece of that right there. And then just curl this last little bit up by hand here. All right. So now I've got these things in place. I'm just going to take and try and get a drop of super glue to land right where I don't know if you can see here. But right where this barbed wire makes contact with the base, I'm just going to put like a drop of glue there. See? Look, isn't that insane? I mean, I guess that's got to be static electricity or maybe magnetism or something. It's like, come on, give me a break. Stop picking up my terrain pieces. Bad old X-Acto knife. What's wrong with you? Let's get something out here that hopefully doesn't have at least not a magnetic charge to it. Magnetic field. All right, so now let's just try and do it. Let's get some glue in here. There you go. Just a little bit there. Now, the other thing I don't like is the glue can kind of be a little shiny after the fact. So a lot of times I will come in right behind that and throw like a little tiny piece of grass or these flowers I'm getting ready to put on here. Just right where that spot of glue is, to help sort of hide that daub, so it's less obvious what's going on there. And to me, it makes it seem just a tiny little bit more realistic that, this barbed wire is put down and maybe the grass has grown up through it or something like that. There we go. Well, Mayor Dude, I'm glad to hear that. I myself have a bunch of daughters that I spent a lot of good time with on Christmas Day, as well as my wife of many, many years, and it was a fantastic Christmas. I just had a great time. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're shooting for. Like I said, we're just trying to make the idea that when you look at this squad of miniatures, it looks like they're all kind of in the same area. I want the bases to tell a little tiny bit of a story. And the story is that we're attacking across this defended hedgerow, and we've made our way up here into this place. Or, yeah, since we drove over it, we're probably attacking over it. We've basically come up to a firing point on the top of a low hill, and now we're taking a chance to shoot at a retreating enemy, or, oh, we hope they're retreating. Maybe they're counterattacking. Whatever the case might be. All right, so like I said, I got to kind of get this guy in the lead. I think I want to position this guy. Let me think. Let me think about this guy. Maybe he's the one that's really in the lead. Got a nice little extra piece of base over here. It's kind of, this model's a little bit off center, which I like. And so I think what I want to do is I want to, maybe I'll just put him in as if he were at an angle. Maybe I have the hedgerow follow this little piece of dirt road here, or this track or path, whatever that is, through the middle of that base. I think that's what I'm going to do with this guy. More flowers over there. Yeah, we'll just keep plopping down some hedges. All right. Again, so now I'm gonna just put some spots of glue down here where I want these hedges to go along the front edge of this here pathway. And again, I'm going to keep sticking them right up against the edge of the vehicle to make it look like, it's just crushed the neighboring hedge underneath it, and it's now driving through the front of this hedge. I think we're going to take this one and put it here. That's a loud, high-pitched noise. All right. Keep working my way. And I kind of don't want it to be exactly like a straight line. So I'm going to move this one. Oh, stick your finger in the super glue. That's a talent of mine, literally. I think I paid extra points for that one when my meta person built me as a character. They were like, man, I really want to be good at sticking my finger in the super glue. How many points is that? Because I'm going all in on that. We don't need any of that other stuff. Dexterity, psh, it's for chumps. I want to glue stuff to my fingers. I think we'll pull this one back here a little bit so we can't just catch the front edge of that dab of glue. And then we'll use, I'm going to throw a few flowers. Now maybe we'll just grab some real color here. Let's get some of this really bright sponge. Come here, God knows how old this stuff is. It may not even work anymore. I've had this stuff forever. I haven't used it very much either. It's just so brightly colored, it's sometimes hard to justify putting it out. So I'm going to tear this into a smaller piece. And then try and glue that little tiny piece in there. Like it. Right there on the front side of that little piece of hedge. Okay. Just some bright color there. Too much, I'll trim that little bit off. And then we'll roll our barbed wire there and put some more of those small flowers, this stuff in front to kind of hide the glue spots on the barbed wire, and we'll be rolling. All right, I'm gonna pull this back to this side over here. I think we'll just go for these over here. Come here. Uncooperative tuft of grass. Good God Almighty, defeated by a tuft of grass. And you can, if you don't like the shape of these, like these are kind of big and blobby, you could just come in and just cut them. Just kind of pull through there. Turn that into two little tufts of grass. Perhaps slightly more appropriately shaped. Drop that down right there. And then right in front of it, I'm going to put one of these smaller, lighter ones. There. There we go. Like I said, I think this one's probably overhanging the base a little too much. I'll get some scissors out in a little while and give that a haircut. I just don't happen to have them handy. All right. Everybody's quiet out there. Stop for a minute and pose a question here. So let's talk about, just real quick, let's talk about some Cav stuff. Let's talk about what you're excited for, I guess, for the upcoming new year. I mean, just in terms of Cav. So, I mean, for me, honestly, probably getting to play again. I would love to get some games of Cav in. I know there's some upcoming projects, maybe the Broadsword. I think, cross our fingers, we might see the Broadsword in 2021. John keeps saying it's right around the corner, almost as if he has a trademark on that. But I feel like he genuinely means it, so I won't tease him too mercilessly. There's the new dual cast process, so we're going to be getting models on a much regular basis. New things released, hopefully monthly, maybe even multi-monthly. You know, we might get a couple of them a month. John talked Broadsword, Ilmarin. Yeah, Broadsword. Honestly, that's probably the thing that I want the most, but I'm putting playing up there more because owning models and not being able to put them on the table is frustrating. I really want to be able to, play. Eagle is on yours too. Big Starhawk. Oh yeah, Mayor dude, I forgot all about the Big Starhawk. Yeah, that'll be oh my gosh, that thing is a dream come true. I am looking forward to that. No, you guys, wow. Can we just have it all? All right. No spoilers, obviously, but I've seen the Wonder Woman movie a couple of times because I'm a gigantic DC Comics fan. And so the villain in there he's one of his catchphrases is "Why not more?" And so I feel like that applies here. Yeah, let's just have all the Cap stuff. Why not more? Let's just get everything. All right, where'd my screwdriver? There it is. Time to make some more barbed wire. Get this on the camera here. See if I can do it right this time. Here we go. Let's start down here. And then we'll just roll it up the length of this here sheetrock screw. There we go. That's probably plenty for this particular base. Cut this off. Lay that up out of the way. Whoa, good God Almighty! Yeah, so Mir, dude, you've seen Wonder Woman? I got HBO Max and watched it Christmas Day, and then we went out Saturday the next day to the local theater trying to support those guys because I love going to the movies. And so we were super safe. The theater spreads everybody out, and we wore masks the whole time. All the usual stuff. We're reasonable people. And watched it in the theater, and oh my gosh, it was sweet. I enjoyed it. Now, my opinion about DC Comics movies is not worth the words that it's spoken with because I'm just such a gigantic fan of their characters for the most part. I even like the bad stuff. I just want comics. I just want comic movies all the time, everywhere. I want them all. I want more. I want all of it. All right. So I think this piece, a barbed wire, I'm going to try and just stretch across the whole front of the thing. So I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit here so that I can put this bit underneath the front of the tank here. Might have ought to made slightly longer one here, but I think this will still work. this bent so that it is literally underneath the tank, like it's dragging it forward, getting ready to, crush it. Oh my gosh. I'm so talented at being untalented. Come here. But yeah, I was ecstatic. There's been such a dearth of movies this year. My wife and I, Tuesday night is usually our date night, and it's almost always going to the theater. We have an all-you-can-see movie pass with one of the local theaters, and so we're always going and seeing movies. And to not be able to see them at all while the theaters were closed, and then again to have such a dearth of new releases for just for the majority of the year has just been not my favorite thing ever. So I was happy to support pretty much anything that they wanted to put on the screen that I could tolerate seeing. There's some genres I'm just not a fan of. I don't really like gross horror movies. But other than that, I would try my best to support the theater. I desperately want to make sure that they don't go away. And to that point, I really was super excited for Wonder Woman. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. I am also a Marvel fan. I'm just, like I said, just give me more. I just want all of it. I will take Batman, Superman, Captain America, Shazam. I will take almost anything that's superhero related. Some of the more serious things like The Boys, I enjoy those too, but it's really grim. So superhero movies can get grim enough that I will not enjoy them. I am not a fan of The Killing Joke as a Batman story, and I am what I would say is a pretty big Batman fan. And even though that I'm sure that story is meaningful and important, perhaps even seminal, it's not my cup of tea. So there are a few things that I'm not a fan of when it comes to superhero movies, but oh my gosh, I just love it. This thing is glued to my finger more than the base. Gosh, how it's that superpower of mine where super glue sticks to me more than anything. How'd that even happen? Yeah, Ilmer and summer. I am looking forward to the summer as well. Mostly from the perspective that I hope things have had a chance to return to normal by then. I hope. I kind of want this thing to bend backwards, but I think I may use a tiny little bit of accelerant on this forward glue point. I'm going to take this off camera and spritz it just really quick. There we go. Hopefully that'll make it stick a little faster. Need to step this up a little bit if we're going to get done tonight with these bad boys. Then later tonight I'm going to try and write these guys up and post it up over on the Discord and the Facebook groups. I'll try and remember to put it over on the Cav group too. The forums is what I meant to say there, the Reaper forums. Probably try and wait and get some decent pictures of them before I do that, but yeah, get some write-ups done. Maybe do I like that flying? No, I decided I do not like that flying point right there. This one end of the barbed wire sticking up, and I don't care for it, so I'm gonna pin it down with the good old X-Acto, and then I'm gonna hit it with a dot of glue, a mountain of glue apparently. And then I'm going to reach up here and grab the spritz, and I'm going to spritz on camera. Oh no, I spritzed. Hopefully it's not against the terms of service. All right. So now we need a few bits of color. I just love these little wildflowers. These are some of my favorite terrain edition bits ever, so I think I'm definitely going to throw some of these in here. What do I use the most of? white, so I guess I'll go with the white ones. Kind of try and stick to a theme. Oh, come on. There you go. Tear those up a little bit so they're not quite as big. Put a dab of glue right there, little tiny dot, hopefully. And then come around here and go right there. I think I want you to go right there. Just to keep back like you're getting ready to be crushed by that track. I think I will take a little tiny piece of this and try and put it right where we just spritzed, which means I probably really shouldn't have spritzed that, but it is what it is. Sort of tuck that in there around that end. Concentrate all that color in one place. All right, so that one's ready. Headed down the home stretch. One more left to go. So I'm pretty excited about all the things you guys mentioned. Man, that big Starhawk. I just totally forgot about that big Starhawk. That is going to be... I'm going to have to put that thing together and put it in my display case. I need to empty that thing out and get some of the older stuff, the games I don't really play anymore, get their stuff put into storage and make room in there for the new stuff, all the good new stuff that we're going to have, hopefully this year. Dual cast. Yeah, that's exciting too. Very exciting. All right. Need some more hedges. Now this guy, he's really far off to the side, and I kind of like that. Gives a little variety. He's not just dead center in the middle of the base. But I think what that means is that I'm gonna put him behind the hedge. I'm gonna bring this hedge like around here, and then like maybe follow just the front edge of this dirt. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. I think I'm going to go with the primary color we've been using here. Rip these off. Probably need 3 or 4 of these. And then we'll sneak in one of our mutant, one of our rock bushes, because Lord knows they're always out causing trouble. Going to go ahead and just make a line of super glue, because why not? Can't go wrong, right? Super glue isn't dangerous. Always does exactly what we tell it to do. Could never cause a problem, right? Not even once. All right, well, maybe once. Let's get you in there. I think it's time for our mutant rock hedge. Right there. I think we might do something a little different on this one. So we're just making this kind of hedgerow here. Bring this back a little bit so it's not strictly there. I've got these like ivy vine thingies that I've never really used very much. Not sure. I mean, they look like just some sort of flowering hedge. I'm trying to decide, is this 2 pieces that are sort of woven together, or is it 1 piece? I can't really tell. I've not had it out of the package. I've never used this one before, so I guess we're just going to try and wing it here. Looks like you just sort of tear it apart like it's kind of a vine. And that's good, because that's what I want to use it as. There we go. You know, one of these days I should really just go crazy and try and actually do some stuff with alien vegetation. I mean, you could make it look like anything, right? I mean, it's alien stuff. So, I mean, within reason, set a set of parameters and just do whatever you want. I think I'm going to put this kind of behind. Bring this color in back here a little bit. Like this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I gotta pull it back out and put a glue underneath it. Maybe we'll just make a little mess right there. Some glue, maybe some more right back here. And then we should be able to hopefully get this to stick. Tucked in back there. And more of the same a little further down. Kind of like it's just grown in the edge of that hedge right there. And now we need a little barbed wire. Now we need a little bit of barbed wire. Come back to the nail, the screw. Actually, it's not a nail. You could do this with a nail. I just happen to have a screw handy right before the start of the stream. Make a little extra this time because I feel like we've got a long frontage here that we need to cover. All right, cut that off. Alright, so here we got this piece of barbed wire. And now I just really want to, in this case, I'm just going to take it along the whole front of this hedge. Just like that. Let's get a bend right there. Maybe a little bit of a bend right there so it sticks out. Yeah. Get this to come down just a little bit. I don't know if you guys can hear this music that I'm playing on the stream, but man, it sounds like the old Star Trek music. It's not, I'm sure this is royalty free stuff, but man, it reminds me of the old Star Trek show from the 60s. Quite a bit. Alright, and I'm just gonna put a couple of dots of glue here for me to try and attach this barbed wire to. And then we try and see if we can't get this thing to actually go where the glue says it needs to go. All right. Of course. Totally not. All right. I'm going to do it again just because I got to get this finished. Do the spritz. Miss. Oh my god, I rolled a 3. I missed. I don't think any of that did anything. I'm going to end up glued to the table. I may need somebody to come rescue me. There we go. And just because, I want a little consistency throughout the base, I'm going to add a little tiny bit of this white flour that we've used elsewhere. I'm going to put it right there, on the front side of that. Yeah, I just like it in the actual barbed wire. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of glue. I need to take a glue class. How to glue things to the base for fun and profit. Get that shoved back up there a little, hopefully. Or did it already insta-set? I think it insta-set. I think there must have still been some activator active. Well, that's annoying. That's okay. We just cut that off. Pretend like we intended that the whole time and nobody will ever know the difference. There we go. That trimmed off of there. Gotta get my scissors after that in a little bit. And that little bit that came off there, we're just going to literally shove that in. Man, we were having a good night with this barbed wire. Guess it would help if I were on screen too. How do you stick to an X-Acto blade? This is how they invented Velcro. I'm sure that guy was a symbol who was doing terrain basing and couldn't get the stuff to not stick to his X-Acto blade. And he looked at it really closely and he saw, oh look, there's little hooks and fibers in here. That must be what's going on. And that's how he invented Velcro. Surely. Or she. I don't honestly know who invented Velcro. Now we're not going to mess with that because it needs to dry. Well, everybody got quiet, but I just assume that's because there are awesome things happening wherever you are. If you're having a great dinner, or you're finishing up a movie, or you're, I don't know, scratching off the winning lottery ticket, I'm just sure there are fantastic things happening for you. At least I hope that's what's going on. So there, we got it. We got our little story going on. We got this squad of 4 self-propelled guns are moving into position across this hedgerow to do what self-propelled guns do, and that's shoot stuff downrange. They all have a little bit of the same, kind of concept. They're all, like I said, they're going through this hedge that's got some color in it, a little barbed wire. They're there. Might do a tiny little bit of highlighting on them if I find the time, just a tiny fraction. And then I'm going to seal them and call them done. So next Monday we will definitely be starting a new project. Mayor Dude is working on homemade cards for calves. Well, that's fascinating. Please be sure to share your progress with us, either over on the forums or the Discord or Facebook or all of them. I'd love to see those. Kind of interested to see what you're doing with them. Different layout, you adding some art. Do you mean like brand new units that you're making up, or are you just restyling existing units? What are you doing there, Mayor Dude? All right, so just a couple of minutes left here. I want to make sure everybody remembers, our schedule. I think tomorrow should be Terrain Tuesday at 8 o'clock with Cav, 8 o'clock Central Time. Cards for a few that don't exist yet. Okay, so that sounds awesome. Like I said, share them with the rest of us when you get them done. We all need access to all those things, if you could. Terrain Tuesday with John. Yeah, I get it. John is a multitasking person, but he can't do everything. I just wish there were more of them. Then he could do everything. That would be great. Anyway, Terrain Tuesdays, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. John is working on his pyramid. I think we're going to maybe see the actual physical manifestation of a pyramid in terrain form, or maybe in the next Ghostbuster movie. I'm not sure. Wednesday, me and John sit down and chit-chat. We haven't decided what the subject is, but it will definitely be anything you come to talk about. If you have questions or something you want to have an answer for, John is the man. New Way! Hey! Glad to see you, man. We're just getting ready to sign off. But it's good to see you again. Then the next, so Tuesday terrain with John. He's gonna work on he's gonna show us a pyramid. Wednesday we'll be chit chatting with John and just talking about whatever's going on. That's okay, Hobby Habit. It happens. I'll show you what we worked on a little bit today, right before I go. And then Saturday sculpting with Chris, as far as I know. That'll be probably the first stream of the new year, so everybody show up and show a lot of support for Chris. I think he's working on a brand new big boy for Cav. You should come check it out. I heard a rumor that it may be the largest physical Cav model. No, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the Dictator, the big 28 millimeter Cav, but in the context of the game, Cav, the thing he's working on may be the physically largest Cav in existence. So come and check that out. You might see the making of history. Largest Cav ever. Hobby, you should have been here to keep us entertained. Yeah, I think that's that may be it. All right, so for those of you that showed up late, real quick. So over the last few weeks, we've been making these self-propelled guns, custom units for Cav, and I decided as we finished basing them, I wanted to tell a little story. So we got these self-propelled guns are involved in attack across kind of an open steppe with a long hedge wall that's been barbed wired. And it's been here a while, so it's got flowers and whatnot growing up in it. And so each one of the different self-propelled guns is traveling through a different part. This one's broken through the barbed wire a little bit already. This guy is not quite there yet. He's still behind the barbed wire, still getting ready to penetrate the hedge. And this fellow is just getting ready to crush the barbed wire underneath his treads as he moves forward on the attack. Maybe they'll be trying to take down a mastodon. Good luck with that. Never going to happen. All right, so thanks for joining us. I'll be back next Monday. We'll definitely be starting a new project. I don't know what it's going to be. New Way. We start at 8 Central Standard Time. If you can show up, that would be fantastic. I always love having you drop by. Anyway, everybody, be happy, be safe, play Cav. Till next time. See ya. See you Wednesday, Mayor Dude.